Pokemon Home is a storage application for any and all Pokemon. You can transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Bank on the 3DS to Pokemon Home, or you can transfer Pokemon from any of the Switch Pokemon games to Home. However, some Pokemon are still only attainable on the 3DS, and the only way to get them is to trade for them on the mobile version of Pokemon Home on its Global Trade System, or GTS. If you've ever been on the GTS in any Pokemon game, you'll know that it is a digital hellscape, and due to how bad it was on the 3DS with it being able to freeze and sometimes crash your system, it makes sense that none of the Switch Pokemon games have the GTS. If you've ever been on Pokemon Home's GTS, you've definitely noticed that a good percentage of people want one Pokemon and one Pokemon only, Furfrou. Furfrou is one of those Pokemon that's currently only attainable on 3DS, and the reason it's so sought after is due to its trims. Of the 10 Pokemon not attainable on Switch, Furfrou is special, because when you send a trimmed Furfrou from Pokemon Bank to Pokemon Home, it loses its trim. And the only way you can get trimmed Furfrous in Pokemon Home is from Pokemon Go. And not just that, certain Furfrou trims are only obtainable for being in certain places, such as France or Egypt or Japan. Because of this, the average person can't easily get all of them, meaning trading is pretty much necessary to get all of them. And if you want one, you'll need to pay the big bucks, most commonly legendaries. Because of this, the market for trimmed Furfrous is massive. However, that will all change in 2025. Let me explain. So you see, before Pokemon Go or Pokemon Home, the way that you would get trimmed Furfrous was back in Pokemon X and Y by going to Lumiose City, and I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. On Pokemon Day 2024, thousands watched as a new Pokemon game taking place entirely in Lumiose City, Pokemon Legends Z to A. Anyways, 44 seconds into the trailer, you can see a trimmed Furfrou, which should imply that you can get trimmed Furfrous in the game. Emphasis on should. And when the game is released, the GTS will have a market crash akin to Black Tuesday, but for something far more important than stocks. Although this time, the economy will improve greatly instead of basically dying, with trimmed Furfrous being far, far more easily attainable. For about a week, I'm guessing that legendaries will be easily attainable since anyone can get Furfrou trims, but after that, the entire landscape of Pokemon Home trades will be different. I can see two possibilities happening. After Furfrou trims become easily accessible, either we finally get good and fair trades after 16 years of the GTS existing, or everyone finds something new to plague the GTS with. Hopefully if that second outcome happens, it's something more easily attainable, although I can't really think of what could realistically replace Furfrou trims. So I think that it is entirely possible that we get good and fair trades on the GTS. Well, other than people asking for impossible combinations and asking for legendaries, for Route 1 mons, but hey, those are always going to be there. But regardless of what happens, we should all be thankful, because we all know from experience that the GTS can be so much worse.